Oh, hey. So, how do you invest in real estate for a beginner? If you're a beginner, how do you get started investing and what are the different ways? Now, I was a beginner once and I picked a great way to invest in real estate, but there are so many different ways to invest in real estate. And I want to show you how you can do this as a beginner and make loads of money, because what's the great thing about real estate is that there are so many different ways to do it. You don't have to pick one. You can if you want, but there are so many ways to make money, to make passive income. I personally love investing in real estate in rental properties. Now, my name is Dustin Heiner with Master Passive Income, and I help people quit their job by investing in real estate rental properties so they never have to work a job again. Now, like I said, there are so many ways to actually start investing. As a beginner, I want to show you how to do these. But I want to cover my favorite one, my absolute favorite one, which is rental properties. The reason why is because I make passive income from those properties. When I was 37 years old, I quit my job. I quit my job, that just over broke job, because I started investing when I was 27 years old. I bought one property and made $250 or more every single month. In fact, I think that first check was like $390 or $380 or something like that. It was a really, really good deal when I bought my first property. This was like 10, 15 years ago. And I still bought the next property. See, what I realized was one property made me, let's say, $380. If one property made me $380, what happens if I bought 10 properties every single month? I would make $3,800 in passive income every single month. Now, here's the amazing thing about rental properties. You have expenses, but you also have your income. All your expenses you can absolutely account for and cover. So here's the great thing. I don't pay my mortgages that I have. I don't pay my insurance. I don't pay my taxes. I don't pay my property manager fees. I don't pay for repairs. I don't pay for any of that stuff on the 30 plus properties that I have. My tenants pay those for me. I literally do not have any money coming out of my pocket for any of these expenses. See, now what happens with real estate rental properties, you cover all your expenses. You stack them all up. You just add them together, all your expenses. Let's say your expenses are $800 a month, including your mortgage, $800, which there are properties you can do that. I found many, and I have my students also find many, but you rent it out for, let's say, $1,100. Well, that difference right there, that $300 is passive income that's going to go into your pocket. Now, that is what is amazing is I am also accounting for somebody else to do the work on the property. All my property managers, all the contractors, I don't use my money to pay them. My tenants pay them and they make the property automatic. My business is automatic. So that's rental property investing. And for everything I talk about, they're going to be in the description below. I have other videos. I want to show you how to do all this sort of stuff as well. All these different ways. I really want you to get started because as a beginner, it's hard to know where to get started. But as a beginner, to get started in rental properties, you need to figure out where you're going to invest, which I have videos to show you how to do that. And I'll put them in the description. Figure out where you're going to invest. Figure out what type of properties you're going to buy, build the business first. You build the business first, and then you buy the rental property. And watch the other videos, and I'll show you exactly how to do everything in how to do rental properties. And another way to invest in real estate as a beginner is to actually do wholesaling. Wholesaling real estate is really, it's simple in the concept. Basically, you find a buyer. And then you find a seller. Number one, you got to find a buyer, figure out what they want to buy, and then you figure out who's going to sell you that property. So let's say an investor like me wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house at about $80,000. Well, you as a wholesaler would then go out and find a house, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath at about $80,000, and then talk to the owner and say, hey, would you like to sell the property? If they would like to sell the property, then you absolutely are able to connect that seller and that buyer, put them together, and then you make money. See, what's great about wholesaling is you make money on the transaction, just like a real estate agent. See, real estate agents, they have to go to classes, they have to take a test, they have to get certified to actually, or whatever license, to actually be a realtor, but wholesalers do not. All they're doing, and they do exactly what a realtor would do, they connect a seller and a buyer. Now, there's a huge key trick that I want to make sure you know, and all the videos, again, like I'm going to show you in the description, go check out those videos on how to do each one of these things, but make sure you have a long list of buyers. That's a huge pro tip I want to give you. If you're getting into this, you want to find all the buyers, as many buyers as you can, because once you have a deal, you want to shop it to every single buyer. So you have one seller and all these buyers. So one seller with that property, connect them, or tell all the buyers, hey, you're on my buyers list. Here's a property that I have for sale. It's, $80,000. The only thing I'm asking for is a $5,000 finder's fee. And what's great is me as an investor, if the property's worth $110,000 and I'm going to buy it for $85,000, I'm literally going to be pocketing, what is that, $25,000 in equity. Wouldn't that be amazing as an investor? Yes, I'd be like, yes, I'm taking that deal. That's a great deal. I'm going to make passive income on it. You're going to get paid $5,000. Now, there are so many different ways to actually do this, but this is a great way to get started, is wholesaling real estate. Another great way to get started as a beginner is in real estate investment trusts. Real estate investment trusts, what it basically comes down to is you're buying a stock. You're buying into a company, and this company is actually going to be managing, buying, doing everything, evicting. They're literally doing everything for you as the owner in many different properties. So all these properties, they put them together into one company, and then you can buy into, just like a stock. Let's say, Apple or Google is a type of stock that you would buy. Well, you would buy into one of these real estate investment trusts, and you would be investing your money in that company. Now, the great thing about real estate investment trust is you get a good dividend, or a decent dividend. Now, it's nowhere near as much as owning your own rental property. That is where you make a lot of money. That's where you make the most money, is owning your own rental property. But what it comes down to is you're actually getting a smaller dividend, because let's say, there's 1 million shares, but you own maybe 10. Well, all the profits from that one real estate investment trust get distributed to all the 1 million shares. You only get, 10 of those. So it gets broken down. So if you're spending a lot of money into that company, you're going to get a lot of money in return. That's a real estate investment trust. Super easy to find them. Just go to any finance, like TD Ameritrade or E-Trade or whatever. Just look for a real estate investment trust. They're all over the place. Now, I would say, obviously, in all this investing, your money is not guaranteed. It's literally not guaranteed. There's a risk in it. If you want no risk, put it into a bank. And even though that still has a little bit of risk, but if you want no risk, that's where you can go. Now, the next thing after the real estate investment trust that you can get started quickly and easily is crowdfunding real estate. Crowdfunding real estate is a great way to get started. Now, think of it like a real estate investment trust, but a little different, where you are actually part owner. Now, you own shares in a real estate investment trust, but this is a little different. I wouldn't say they guarantee a return, but they have a different way of doing business. So think of, if somebody has a product, they create a product that they want to sell. Let's say it's a phone holder or something. They put it on GoFundMe or something like that, where people all pool their money together to help this product get sold. Similar thing with the crowdfunding companies. What they do is they have a real estate company or real estate property that they have for sale. Everybody pools their money together to buy it, and then you get a portion of that deal. Now, there are great companies out there. Check out the description for all that below. And also on my website where I'm talking about this, I even write it all up. I have everything in there for you to check out as well. Check out in the description. Everything will be in the description. So go check that out. The crowdfunding is another great way, but it's a newer way. The real estate investment trusts have been around for a long time. The crowdfunding, like Peer Street and other companies, have been around for a very long time. So have not been around for a very long time. So I wouldn't say they come and go, but they're relatively new. So when you're putting your money in there, you got to be ready for some sort of risk that might come back, where oh no, the one company went out of business. I'm just saying if it did. So you have to be concerned about that, because being a beginner, you can put your money into the crowdfunding websites that are really, really good at making money for their investors. Fix and flip is another great way to invest in real estate. Now, you're not actually owning real estate, other than maybe for a couple months, and then you're selling it. So it's not necessarily investing your money, but you're investing your money into that real estate to flip it up to get more money. Now, everybody has seen these shows, these fix and flip shows, where people, buy a house, they put, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 into it, and they make $100,000. Now, those are not the rule. It's more the exception to the rule to be making $100,000, $200,000 on deals. Now, some people might argue with me and say, no, you actually can. But what I've seen, usually if you can flip a property and make about $40,000 to $50,000, that's after your expenses, that's going in your pocket. Because remember, you still have taxes you still got to pay. That's another way to do it. But now, when you do a fix and flip, all you're basically doing is you're finding a property. You're finding a seller and you're saying, hey, I want to pay you below market value. Now, you're not going to tell them that, but you're going to give them an offer. You're going to give them a good offer, and a rule of thumb, a good tip is 70% of the market value. If you can buy it for 70% of that, including rehab costs and everything else and closing fees, you're still potentially going to make money if you can buy it for 70% of the total market value. So if it's $100,000 that the value of the house is worth, if you buy it for $70,000, more than likely you're going to be able to make some money in fixing it up and flipping it out. So that's fixing and flipping. I have videos for how you do that as well. It's really, really simple in essence. You buy a property, you fix it up, make it better so that somebody else can then buy it for a higher amount. That's fix and flipping properties. And another way that you can actually invest as a beginner is where you actually merge a couple of these together. So you remember you have wholesaling, but then you also have fix and flip. It's called wholetailing. Wholetailing is a little different, but you're putting together. You're making more money than if you were just wholesaling, like $5,000, and you're making less money than if you were flipping the house, like completely gutting out the kitchen, adding a new room and all that sort of stuff. That's fixing and flipping. If you're doing wholetailing, you're combining those. So you're getting a really good property for fairly cheap. Relatively inexpensive. Instead of just, handing it over to an investor, you're going to do really nice cosmetic things that don't cost a lot of money, painting the walls, getting new carpet in, putting new light fixtures, things like that. Just make it nice and clean. So you're making the value go up, not so much like if you're flipping the house, but you're making it much nicer. And so instead of making $5,000, you might make $15,000 or $20,000. It's a quick way to make a little bit more money. You put a little more effort into it. They're all great, really, really, really great ways. Now, that is how you can get started as a beginner. Check out all these videos that I have for you. I think it's over here. Check out these videos that I have for you to get started investing as a beginner.